Okay. So the topic of this meeting today is about sharing with you many different ways on create items. And first of all, what are the ways to get inspiration and to start your creative development. And I'll be going into showing you a couple of ways, which I will be calling the classic ways, way before AI and computers and everything. And I'm very keen on showing these things to you because um, I wouldn't want all of you to think that because AI exists and that technology exists, that this technology can actually think for you and decide for you um, what should be the designs that you do. And it's extremely important that you remember that any apps or technological tools, and particularly AI, these are tools which you need to direct, and you need to be the master of it. I mean by this that do not expect them to think for you and to replace you as a human person, and that's extremely important. And this is why, prior to that, everything that you think of, that you want to embark into creativity and research needs to come from your brain, yourself, who you are, the type of person, what you believe in terms of creation and everything, and put it together, and then use the tools to make them do what you want them to do. And there are ways to do that, but definitely first and for all, in order to create. And I mean by this, I mean, you guys are into want to go or embark or are into either fashion or jewelry. But what I will be showing you applies to anything. These are processes. You would be car designers, you would be furniture designers, etc. These are principles that every creator are using, and these are made to make you think definitely outside of the box. And for that, you need to learn how to work differently. We are in a world where I can say that everything has already been invented, everything has already been created, because we've got hundreds and if not millions of designers and creators. How can you make a difference? And the way you can make a difference is definitely based on you, yourself, your visions, your culture, your personal culture, your general culture, and how you can integrate that into ideas and manipulate them. And it's really about you know for you what you are going to do. It's really about a reinterpretation, either from the past or from your culture, and pushing it toward the future. I have been, I was given the topic and the explanation of what you have to do in order to later on propose, present, and be selected based on, the Bahraini culture, etc., etc. Um, you need to think further than that, because any culture that exists on our planet, if we don't play with it, if we don't push it, this culture will disappear. Or very only few people will still be, maintaining it. But the idea is to refresh it, to push it in the future without losing its DNA. And that's where the fun actually can start. As you can see here on the left side, we've got a classic piece of furniture. And how can you turn that into something extremely modern and go forward? Um, one advice: always experiment. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because this is results and fantastic ideas come from mistake. Never think that whatever idea you have when you create is something stupid or ridiculous, because thinking, this is really about that, thinking outside of the box. If you think too classic, and if you remain within your own box, and if you do not expand that box and twist that box and put in that box things that have nothing to do with each other, then you're going to remain using classical ideas, and these may not, push forward, the dream which you had. And inspiration is everywhere. That's the thing. Do not only use what you have there, in your mind, but look. And what I mean by look around you for everything, and look also beyond what you see on a daily basis. And particularly, do not look at things for what they are. And if this sentence, which I have written here, is kind of obscure to you, let's look at this. Do you know the painter René Magritte? Surrealist painter. He painted this painting in 1928. What you see written here says this is not a pipe. How strange that is. You are seeing a pipe. But actually, if you do not look at it for what it is, this could not be a pipe, actually. So having that in mind, when you will be looking at an object, when you will be looking at an architecture, when you will be looking at an insect, when you will be looking at a car, this is not a car, this is not an insect, this is not a building. This can be what you want it to be. So can you please tell me what you see here?
You guys can open your mouth.
Yeah, turn on your microphone and tell me what you see here.
Upside down. Vivian, you can unmute it.
Okay, a giraffe face.
Oh, sorry. Can you say that again?
A giraffe.
Okay, yeah, it's a giraffe. Look, what you see. What do you see? You got it? Don't look at things for what they are. Flip things upside down. Cut it. Switch it. On the left side, you see an elephant, correct? This is exactly the same elephant, but flipped upside down. And what do you see here? You see a bird, isn't it? And it's the same image, which means that after this session, once we'll be done, and when you'll be going out of wherever you are, look at things which are outside, but don't look at it for what it is. Even a door handle, even a pair of shoes. It can be anything if you manipulate it and if you play with it. And inspiration is everywhere. On the left side, we've got, I found this image, Lotus Temple in India. I found it interesting. Looks like a flower or a lotus, actually. Look what I have done here. I got the inspiration coming from here, and I started to probably develop something, the starting base of an idea, using the shapes and the proportion coming from this image. And by the way, this temple has nothing to do with a piece of jewelry. It has nothing to do with fashion. But I can turn that into a piece of art, a jewelry, or a building, another building, or a garment. And this is what I mean by look at things which are around you, but make them become your own in order to play with them and see what they can bring to you outside of, their own context. Left side, we've got a light made out of paper. Well, actually, this is not a light. That can be a top. If you are looking and doing something into fashion, that can be the top of a garment. Another light that you can actually use, take it out of its own context and bring it onto a mannequin and start designing maybe a garment or a dress or another piece of jewelry. And then we can start playing. So if you like chandelier, if you like lights, anything that actually creates an atmosphere or, sends sources of lights anywhere, if it is something that you feel close to, then start searching, start researching, because this is the main key. This is what every designers do. The 90% of our job in our design profession, whether we are jewelry designer, fashion designer, architect, cars, industrial product, furniture, we do research all the time, and we do that on a daily basis. And we have preferences, and these preferences are very, dear to us. So we search what we like or what we are interested in. So I said, when I prepared this presentation, I said, okay, today I like lightnings, I like lightning systems. So I'm going to find one or two. And this plus this could be equal that. And of course, this at the moment is maybe not the end result of what I would like to do, but it's a starting point. These are elements which I'm going to start to play with, and I could work them out by adding, by cutting off, reversing them, and come up with something that is really my own, because I've found images, I've cutted them, I've collaged them, digitally, of course, because I am using, Photoshop, if you all know. But I could take actually images from a magazine and cut them out together and do what we call collage. So here I'm going to go toward, what I call the traditional design research techniques, because they do not require any application or any softwares. They're important to me because it's fast and it's easy. I escape any, hurdles like what happened to me earlier when I couldn't connect myself. Pair of scissors, paper, glue, and I go. Collage techniques. So I could assemble various object images to find volumes, because when you design something, whether it's jewelry or whether it is fashion, garments, what's very important initially, it's the volumes of things, the shapes of things, without going into details. Whatever details you put in comes after. But first of all, we've got to look for shapes and volumes. And something which I like very much to do, whether when I design garments or when I'm requested to design jewelry, for example, or furniture or, items, I like to take images and put them together. So here, for example, here I'm focusing on, what's happening if I mix within the collage techniques, different types of elements, which I am interested in, and see what it does. So I am here creating volumes. At the moment, this is not a final garment, this is not a finished garment, but it creates a shape. And at least this element is going to be the starting point for me to develop elements and going slowly and closer to a finished garment. Same here, for example. This is way more abstract. Probably this element, this collage here, is probably more successful than this one. But it's interesting because when you go into collage, you've got to be careful about making sure that what you are putting together gives you a result. It's not just about, collaging and putting images together. You have to maintain the objective that you have. We've got another technique, which is called Windows collage. And this is about removing the inside parts of an object. So if you are into fashion, then you would take, for example, a jacket or a dress. You would remove the inside. The collage that you would have done prior to that, you would put it under. So this is why we call it window collage. So an example here, I'm taking a jacket. So it can be a jacket, it can be a t-shirt, it can be a dress, it can be a pair of pants, or, an abaya, anything. You cut it out. You keep the main elements, which, makes it what it is. Here, in occurrence, it's a jacket. And the collage that you have played with before, you place it under, and suddenly it opens up quite a lot of possibilities and ideas, whether these could be cuts, seams, or maybe prints, or maybe a fabric printed based on the collage which you have done. You could also use another technique, which is designing from a random image. So you select carefully images which have a good shape, a form, or a volume, and you play with them. This has nothing to do with either fashion or jewelry, right? This is Master Yoda. I'm taking this. I am searching for Master Yoda, and I am finding this image, which is a graphic 2D representation. Then once I have that, I minimize the representation of Master Yoda, and I end up with a geometrical shape. This geometrical shape, I could apply it, for example, on a large piece of fabric. And I could decide that this shape is actually a cutout within this fabric. And if I put this fabric, here is the neck hole, okay? And if I put this on a human being, this is what I will achieve. I did it. It works. So we're talking about an image, a shape, and a result. And this can apply, of course, for jewelry, furniture design, object design. Same thing. That's another technique. Taking an image, modifying it, simplifying it, turning it into a geometrical shape, and playing it, and within having a result. Inspiration. Don't look at things for what they are. This, you could say, of course, this is what you know it is. But if I flip it, this gives me an interesting idea that could probably make me cut fabric or make me cut metal or any particular item and start to design. So here I'm still using, fashion oriented. And this is what I came up with by simply being inspired by that, drawing, cutting, and all of that. But this, by the way, if I did flip it and if I wanted to play with it and only use that part, for example, and I'm doing it directly within PowerPoint, but probably this element here could become an interesting piece of jewelry there, a necklace. That shape is interesting. I could play with it. Another technique is about paper folding. Play with paper. Like, do you know origami, the Japanese technique of paper folding? If you know, good. If you don't, please look at origami, O-R-I-G-A-M-I. Play with paper, fold it, come up with ideas and shapes. And these origami techniques can apply to jewelry and they can also apply to fashion. Here, I am giving you few examples of what I've been doing and folding paper first, but then after folding fabric. Same thing. Simply with using my hands and paper and then fabric. Another process and solution to find inspiration and to come up with something interesting is to search for an image which has a very strong volume, shape oriented. So here, for example, I have taken a photo for the museum in Bilbao of Frank Gehry. And I said to myself, that's interesting. Okay, I'll draw that. I'll come up with this. What could I do with this? So this, I could duplicate it. I could mirror it. I could multiply it horizontally and vertically, and it's going to come up and show and provide me interesting shapes which I can play with. Here again, I have used this. I have duplicated it vertically and horizontally, and I have cut the fabric, I have folded it, and that's what I came up with. So again, there's nothing related between this image and the end result. So inspiration is everywhere. Do not focus when you create fashion or when you create jewelry. Please do not look at fashion. Do not look at jewelry. Because if you start doing that, you're going to copy, you're going to be inspired and influenced by someone who has already done that process. So you need to think and to look at things outside of the subject in which you are working. Another technique as well, it's to pattern an object to get into creation concept. So what do I mean by pattern an object? You can take a big object or you can take a small object. If you take a big object, let's say if I focus on jewelry right now, I could pattern a very big object and reduce it to the size of a piece of jewelry. Or I could take a small object, pattern it, and enlarge it to come up with something that has a relation with garment and fashion. So I'm interested by this. It's an interesting shape. I don't know what I could yet do with it, but I want to pattern it. So what I mean by this is that I take this object, I take fabric, I put it on top of it. Either I pin it if I can, or I glue it if I cannot pin it. And once I've glued it or pinned it, I trace it. I trace the paper, which I have, patterned it with, or I trace the fabric, which I have patterned it with. You could pattern a chair. You could pattern a sofa. You could pattern your cat. Trace it, remove the fabric, and use this in order to apply it to whatever you want to apply. And I have patterned that object, and this is what I came up with in terms of garment. If I remove this garment out of the bust, and if I place what I've done on top of that object, it will apply itself exactly how it was. So that's another technique. Now, AI design research. What I like to do when I use AI is not to use AI apps directly, because if I do that, I am actually escaping every processes which I have showed you before. What comes up will not be my creation, will not be my idea. It will be the idea of a machine. And that's very important that you all understand that you need to work out creation, research, development, try out, error, mistake, cutouts, everything prior to go into AI. Very important. AI will never replace a human being in terms of creativity. Never. So here I am. I have selected an image of an architecture, a building. And here I have used a pearl shell. Why am I using a pearl shell? Obviously, because since you are in Bahrain, you all very well know that Bahrain was the epicenter in the world for pearl diving. So I believe that every one of you is going to think, okay, in the creations which I am going to do, I'm going to use my culture, my heritage, which is pearls, among other things, and I'm going to play with it. But if you only use that, we've all done it already, and you will not stand out because it's been done. So what I meant initially by pushing heritage toward the future, some of the tools which I've showed you before can actually be applied to that. So I've selected this brutalism concrete type of image. I have used a Perl shell. I have here applied it directly into AI. And I said, okay, AI applications, you have to write what you want to have. And we call it a prompt. So here on the left side, here is my prompt. Merge brutalism architecture with a Perl shell into a luxury jewelry piece. Create a modern minimalist pendant with high polished gold, smooth curves, and premium studio lighting. And I have used Adobe Firefly AI app. By uploading this and this is what it gave me. I said to myself, yeah, okay, well, that looks like a nice little pendant, but that's not my design. This is not me. There's something missing there. It could be anyone. Actually, if anyone says I want to, use brutalism architecture with a Perl shell, probably this will come out as well. So it's looking good, but I'm not satisfied because this is not Denis. So what I do, so here it is the result pretty large. I could satisfy myself, but never be satisfied by AI results. Never, never, ever. Push yourself further. So what I did, I went back to my traditional collage because this is my design. This is my starting base. So obviously you can see that this building is as it is, horizontal, but I've decided to put it vertical. And I've only used part of the Perl shell, traditional collage. Here already, I'm having something interesting because I am very, modern. It's architectural. And here I have something which, is more natural. So nature, man-made. There's a contrast. That's what I like. By the way, what I'm showing you here is for jewelry design. If I was to push this, I could make a garment out of that because it's the same technique. Then I uploaded that into AI and I said, create a modern minimalist pendant with high polished gold, smooth curves, and premium studio lighting. And this is what AI gave me as a result. So already there, I have different results. Let's say maybe I'll take this one. I'll compare it with this result. Okay, well, that gives me another possibility. Am I satisfied? Here, I was not too satisfied. It was too common to me, too basic in terms of idea. Here, starting to be interesting, but I find it a bit classic, and I don't see my building anymore. It has taken only the texture of the concrete of the building, and it has basically, in a classical way, placed the shape, the shell inside. So you see, AI is thinking classically, is not thinking avant-garde. And that tells you something. If you want to push further toward the future, be an avant-garde designer, a modern designer, apparently AI is not going to be your friend. So you've got to push AI. And this is what I did. So I said, okay, I am not happy. So I'm going to take my collage. This is my prompt. And here I changed AI application and I've been using Mid-Journey. So maybe Mid-Journey was more appropriate as an AI design research app versus Firefly. And these are the results I got. So here I'm starting to be interested in what AI is proposing to me, but you would not be able to get that as a result in AI without your original initial collage. always very important. Work out your ideas first, then put it in the mixer and see what comes out. So in a larger view, so you can see that's my collage. So here I am really there. I have variations. And that's interesting. I'm starting to get something. Probably personally, I probably like that very well. There's something which I like here, which I'm just thinking about right now, is actually if I flipped it, I would have probably an interesting pair. It's an hearing. I can see an hearing there with two fingers. Probably there's something here that could lead me to the start of a collection of jewelry. I could have pendant. I could have the start of hearings, maybe. Do you all know this, right? Do you? I do. So you're all familiar with this, okay? So I like that place. And there's such a contrast, with its surrounding. And this is not my heritage. This is not my culture. This is, I don't not live in Bahrain. But when I see something like this, I wonder who did it, why, and probably I could actually use it as something modern, which I could mix with something traditional or with something heritage. So I made a research about this, and I found actually the drawings of the place, which I have flipped again vertically. I have kept my shell. I've placed it in AI, and I'm starting to have something very interesting, I find. And probably this here is maybe too obvious, or maybe I don't really like the volume of this, but I could always, change it manually. But here I like that because it has integrated, you see, mother pearl inside the building. Here, this is a Bahraini, modern, futuristic, inspired piece of jewelry from Manama. But how did I come to this? It's because the parking, to me, is not a parking. This is a shape which I can play with. I did the same thing, really straightforward in AI for fashion. I said in the prompt, create a modern outfit blending minimalistic design with Bahraini embroidery. I used 3 different AI applications. Look what this AI application gave to me. 3 different results. Is it interesting? Is it modern? Probably not. Is it very, very Bahraini? I'm not certain. Here, but the embroidery probably, but I have something quite basic and casual wear. Why not? So this is to tell you that AI design research, you've got to try things using different applications because all of them will give you different results. So don't stick to one only. Here I did an inverse research. You remember this result which I got from the jewelry, from the building and the shell? I took it, I uploaded it, and I said, make a dress from this object. And this is the result I got. So here I'm telling you, you can use jewelry as an inspiration for fashion and garments. You can use fashion and garments as an inspiration for jewelry. Or you could use a car to start a fashion collection or different cars. You could use furnitures to develop jewelry collections, etc., etc. So things are not in closed boxes. And this is what makes creativity a wonderful profession. You create your own rules. You are the one who can break your rules, and you can mix your rules. In other words, you are the conductor of your own orchestra. Musicians are elements, and you play with the elements like a conductor will actually conduct an orchestra, creating music and sounds. Inverse research, that's quite interesting. I took the result of my collage initially, which I had done for fashion. I uploaded this and I used another application called Runway ML. And I told it, create a modern minimalist pendant with high polish gold and smooth curves. I've uploaded my fashion image, which I designed. I got that result. That started to be interesting. So this is to, again, show you that, don't close your boxes. Don't close your possibilities. You want to design jewelry? Don't look at jewelry. Don't go toward jewelry. Create other things, then bring it back into jewelry. And this is where jewelry is going to become interesting. Then afterwards, of course, I said, place the pendant on the model. And this is what I got. Conclusion, creative development tools. Here are the techniques which I have showed you, the collage, the window collage, the shape creation from an image, folding paper, patterning an object, and you can come up with, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas using only these 5 different, creative development tools. Once you have something, achieve something interesting, then bring it into AI. Experiment with the AI apps. Here I have, written down some of them, but nowadays, there are really dozens and dozens and dozens of them. So try out. You will, if you have not done it yet, do not think that these applications are free. Initially, probably you'll be able to upload something once or twice, but good apps are not free. Actually, nothing on this planet is free when it's excellent. You've got to pay for it. You just have to try. It works by points or credits. You pay a certain amount or you get a subscription, and then you can use it whenever you want. But find the ones that correspond to the activity that you want to do. So here I have placed 1, 2, 3, 4 only about fashion. I've showed you Firefly. I've showed you Midjourney. I've showed you Runway ML. Fashion AI is one which is quite nice. For jewelry, the ones that come out more regularly are this one, BLNG, Bilo AI, and Flixier, but there are way more. So to end, this presentation before, answering to your questions, my message to you is dare to experiment for creativity, for it to remain a dream in perpetual evolution, and dare, make mistakes, try things out, never be sad or depressed if the idea you have doesn't work, because sometimes something that doesn't work is actually the solution. It's about daring, searching, repeating, developing. But overall, it all depends on your interest in what's around you and your interest on what's not around you. Search. Look at different culture. Go beyond. If you have interest outside of fashion and if you have interest outside of jewelry, within you, whether it is mathematics, chemistry, biology, nature, insect, poetry, music, you are going to find creative ideas within these. And using your personal, things which you are attracted with, which I call the personal universe, these are the elements and the directions in which you need to go in order to develop your own design. And this is what will make you different from one another. Thank you. Now I will be welcoming your questions.
Nice questions. Any questions? Okay, so everyone can present a design tomorrow then, if there's no questions.
Yes. I made, particularly for the jewelry designer, I actually made the job on purpose with
I can
using pearl shell and a building so that it's done. So you have to do something else then. I'm challenging you here.
Actually, Dennis, maybe since there are no questions, I just want to check again. No questions at all? Okay, so since there is no question, maybe as Dennis, maybe you can just give a quick brief about Esmod Dubai as well, for those who don't know, what your organization is as well. So I think just a
Mhm.
quick brief about what you do outside,
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Esmod, ESMOD, is the contraction of the French words École supérieure de mode, Higher Institute of Fashion. Esmod is the oldest fashion school in the world. It was created in 1841 in Paris by the personal designer of Empress Eugénie and Napoleon. The founder, his name is Alexis Lavigne. He is the inventor of the supple measuring tape, the inventor of the couture bust, and the inventor of the very first pattern making methodology, which is the one that every fashion brands that high street couture, is still using today. I co-founded with Miss Tamara Hostal Esmod, the French Fashion Institute, in Dubai 25 years ago. Esmod Dubai focuses only in fashion, and we are the only institute in the GCC purely only focusing on fashion design, fashion education in the region. We teach creativity in fashion design. We teach the technicity in fashion design. We have a main program, which is a BA degree full-time program, but we have many, many, many other short part-time programs, all related to fashion. Whether it is a 5 days learning how to sew, whether it is a 3 months part-time learning how to start designing, and how to use techniques, how to develop garments, if you are more technical than creative. We have a 1-year foundation part-time program as well. We also have styling to become a stylist, knowing how to dress up, people and become a buyer. We also have a fashion business and marketing program. We also have, and we also do private personal coaching for the ones that actually have a business related to fashion or jewelry or creativity. So, we give a personal coach coaching the person who already has a business or is starting a business all the way from creativity up to business plan. We are actually doing that currently with 15 participants who are all Bahraini and all living in Manama. You name it. You want to come and visit us. You want to have an online program. You want to have a physical program. You want to come here and study with us for a week or for a month. You're more than welcome. It's very well located. This you can see the image behind me. I'll move a bit. It doesn't look like a normal university. It looks like a design studio. The courses are in English or French for the ones who understand, and we also have Arabic speaking teachers. That's what I can tell you today. And thank you for asking.
Dennis, no worries. And Dennis actually one of the participants, because she's a bit far from the laptop. So she was just asking, you also have online programs, right?
Yes, exact. We have fashion styling program. We have technical program. We have fashion design program, learning how to draw fashion, learning how to develop collections. We also have the fashion marketing program online, fashion business program online, and private personal coaching for launching a business program online. We also have history of fashion, because that's very important to know where fashion comes from. So all of these programs are also available online. And you can find all of our program easily. I'll write it down here. I'll raise that. www.esmod-dubai.com. That's the website. And the Instagram is at Esmod Dubai. And you can check Instagram. You can follow us, please, and we'll follow you back. And you can see the work that we do, the work that the students are doing with faculties. What makes the difference between us and other fashion institutes is that every single person at Esmod Dubai comes from the fashion industry. We are designers, we are masters, we are business developers in fashion. This is our profession before launching Esmod in Dubai.
That's amazing. And like Dennis mentioned, they have a program with Temkeen that they had launched, and a few of you guys are already part of the program. There were other people who applied for this program as well. That was part of the same initiative with the Esmond in Dubai and Temkeen. So I think it really represents how much of an improvement they probably had gone through the program. Yeah, so Dennis, again, thank you so much. I don't know if you cannot see me, but thank you so much. I'm seated on the side. Thank you so much. I think that was an amazing, I'm very happy that you've shared a few platforms that everyone can check out. For us in particular, similar to the last session that we had before this, it's very important for you guys to be very much aware about different tools that are out there other than ChatGPT, other than, Gemini and all of that. And especially, especially one thing that I did mention to Dennis is that considering that he is in this field, that share very reliable sources and very reliable techniques and platforms that they actually use. So thank you so much, Dennis, for that. If
welcome.
any, and I would really, really recommend going onto their website. I had gone through onto their website and seen what they had done before in the past. And they have really amazing topics that you guys probably wouldn't even think that is available in the GCC. But they have that with them in the institute, and both Dennis and his co-founder are very lovely people, and they were very happy to support you and train you and share their knowledge and expertise with you guys. So I'd really recommend, just checking them out, see what they have. They had worked with Faisal as well, the speaker and the panelists we had in the first week. So, it would be really good to, stay connected and be aware that there is something like this in the GCC. It might not be in Bahrain, but you are able to access it from Bahrain. I believe so, right, Dennis? You were part of the like one of the companies to do the Paris to Manama.
Yes, exactly. We were part of the jury members when it took place. Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So they were part of
Oh,
it. So, they visit. From what I understand, Dennis visits Bahrain very regularly.
yes,
So
almost every 2 weeks, actually,
yeah,
since
So
October 2024. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they visit Bahrain very regularly. So hopefully we will see you, Dennis, inshallah, if it aligns with your calendar, that we see you in the finale event in February 8th,
Hmm.
that the participants are able to meet you in person as well. So
It will
hopefully
be a
you're
great
able to
pleasure.
join us by then.
It will be my pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you, Amira.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
and good luck. Work hard and surprise us.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye bye.